Shortcuts on the field, defenders they shiver. Goalkeepers nervous, strikers they'll deliver. Crowd roars erupted, you can feel the quake. 80,000 voices.
Hello everybody, how you doing? You're welcome to the channel. How you been? How's your Sunday coming along? So today we have lots to talk about. We'll be talking about, of course, the under-20 World Cup that just started. We'll be talking about the games that have been played. Of course, talk about the Nigerian Super Eagles, what will be happening, with them with respect to qualification for thing. So, take it from the top again. In this video, we'll be talking about Nigerian Super Eagles, Okay. In this video, we'll be talking about Nigerian Flying Eagles going into the Under-20 World Cup. Some games have been played, and we'll be talking about those games as well. Talking about the results, talking about the Nigerian Super Eagles and the injuries that have hit the team and options that we should be looking at, and could be looking at. That could be a sort of replacement for the players that we had injured. And then, of course, there's something that I've noticed, a huge talking point, a huge topic that's around home base or homegrown players versus foreign-born players. For me, I don't see it as an issue, but a lot of people kind of see that as an issue. I don't quite understand why. So I'll give my 2 cents and opinions about that. So let's dive straight into the World Cup. Games, on the World Cup games. So Japan and Egypt, Japan won 2-0. Fair play to them. That's done. And then as well, Korea lost to Ukraine 2-1. Then, of course, we got Chile versus New Zealand. Chile, the host nation, won 2-1. They got a scare because I think New Zealand got the first goal, and then they equalized and won the game. And then Panama actually scared Paraguay in this game, and then they are able anyways to get the win, 3-2. So one thing that has been a team going into this competition that I have seen is late goals. The small teams, or the teams you want to think them as small teams, are no longer small teams. They'll give you a right old scare if you do not take advantage of, if you do not sort of take your chances, if you do not take advantage of the strength and the prowess that you have, you'll be shocked. And many teams could have been shocked today. They could have been shocked in game day 1. And of course, there'll be some games I'll be doing watch-alongs for going into this game day 2 of game week 1. I'll be doing the Spain versus Morocco game. I'll watch that one, and then of course I'm doing the Brazil Mexico game as well. So I'll be doing watch-alongs for those two. This Brazil Mexico game is a bit late, so I don't know if you'll be able to stay up for that watch-along. It's by 12 a.m. late or early, depending on how you want to put it down, but it's a bit early. But just quickly want to apologize. I had some technical issues, so you must have seen this stream come up earlier than this, but didn't quite finish. So apologies for those technical issues. So that's it. But now we're good to go. So now, Nigeria under-20 team going into this competition, we all know how I feel about it. I'm sure many of you would have a similar feeling as well with respect to how they performed in the AFCON and some changes that we needed to be made. And of course, a lot of us would have been excited as well about some players that were invited, like the Divine Oyemachi, the Chizra Mezenwata. I was excited for these players, but for some reason, either club issues or issues with either club issues in terms of clubs releasing the players, or the general normal Nigerian Football Federation issues with players. So we've had all those issues come up. But right now, I think we have to focus on the tournament. Already Parabo is in the building. Charles Agada is in the building as well. Daniel Daga is in the building. That's a name that I, really, really am excited to see what he's all about. I'm really excited to see what he is indeed all about. So, um, get something done because I think he is someone that would really, really bring something special to that midfield. So let's see how it all shapes up in that regard. And then, of course, we've got the likes of course, we don't have Onyebu Chobas in this team. Obviously, we don't have him there. But fair play, we still have the likes of Bam Yi. Of course, I have my own personal issues why I think he shouldn't be here, but he is here. And I think he is one of the better players in this team in terms of defending. So thankfully, let's see what he can do. So what are your opinions on this on this World Cup, on the 20 World Cup? Are you excited about the tournament, or you're thinking about the Super Eagles if they'll indeed be able to qualify for the World Cup? What we can see so far from this tournament is this: there are no small teams. There are no small teams anymore in this tournament. Any team you come up against, you must take them seriously. I was just looking at the game Egypt versus Japan, and remember in them days, Egypt, Japan, you especially under 20 tournaments, you look at Egypt and say that's a walkover, that's a game that you win comfortably 2-0, 3-0. But come to look at it, they absolutely got trashed. 2-0. I think that was a dominant performance from the Japanese side. And then, of course, look at the Ukraine game as well. I think that was a very good performance from the Ukraine side as well. So, overall, the tournament has lived up to expectations, really. And then look at what Chile had to do to get that to get that goal in the dying minute. We have to tell you in this competition, you must be on your game. You must be concentrating 100% of the time. Because in that game, I think it was a goal. The ball came into the box. The goalkeeper sort of fumbled it. Jumped out of his hands, and then the Chilean player just smashed into the net, and that was it. And that was Cottons 2-0, 3-2 to 2-1 to Chile. So Paraguay as well had to do the same against Panama. Had to leave it till late to win 3-2. So you can see this competition is a competition where you have to be 100% focused on the game. Now, of course, on Monday I'll be doing the watch along for the Flying Eagles game. Taking on Norway, and of course we've seen the interview by Reri Parabo going into that game, saying that he has some friends. Obviously, he plays in Norway. Remember, he's on the books for Nilstrom, and he is on loan to Mjøndalen, all in Norway. So he says he has some friends there, and obviously he's looking forward to coming up against those players. I hope Zubairo has his tactics in order. I hope he picks the right players from the collection of players he has brought in, he has invited, and have come in. I do have my doubts in respect of the midfield. A lot of people rate Ioma, I think. They rate him highly, but for me, I just feel like that midfield, not so much. And then my Ghana, I want to see what my Ghana is all about. My Ghana, he's been scoring. He's got a couple of goals in these preseason friendly games that they've had. So let's see how that all shapes up. If indeed, I'll just bring the list up in a minute so I can actually speak to the names that I'm calling. So he's been pretty exciting, at least from what we've been hearing. So let's see what he's able to do, come the competition itself. I'd like to know who you would expect to start in the game, or who you're looking forward to seeing in the game. For me, there's one name. One name is Irene Parabo. He's one I'm excited to see. Of course, Ebenezer Harcourt, the goalkeeper. I want to see how he grows. He's a very young man. I want to see how he grows in this competition as well. Charles Agada is another name that I would love to see what he can do, because I like his profile, because he's that stocky, pacey a player that reminds me so much of Aguero. sort of reminds me of that kind of player as well. So these are this lineup. So we've got Ebenezer Harcourt, plays for Sporting Lagos. Yeah, Ebenezer Harcourt plays for Sporting Lagos. So Clinton Ezekiel by Arthur United, meant to be a wonder kid. So let's see what he's all about as well going into this competition. Ocheche Amos, yeah, I think he should have that right back spot held down. He plays for Stade Reims in France. Seen and heard so much about him. Let's see what he can do. Or Dinaka Okoro. I have my own misgivings about some players here. Why they're even here, but they're here. We just have to support the team 100%. We've got Daniel Bamiyi. Daniel Bamiyi, is he meant to be here? I don't quite know, but still, let's see what he can do. He just made a move to Europe, so that's a good one for him. Marvelous. Ikorodu City, Atlanta Azuka, 36 Lions, Akinyele Ahmed, Olamide Remo Stars. Incidentally, Remo Stars, the champions of the Nigerian Premier League football, the Nigerian Premier Football League. So Israel Ayuma, NK Istra. He was in the under-20 AFCON squad, finished third, got the bronze. And when I look at him, he has a very good shot on him, but I just think in terms of being creative in that midfield, he lacks quite a bit. But hopefully he's improved between the AFCON and this FIFA Under-20 World Cup. Let's see what he does. Emmanuel Ekowochio, FC Montana. Know that much about him. Let's see what he can do. Mustafa Kamaldeen, Para FA. Let's see, of course, Daniel Daga, someone I rate highly. There's a shot on the channel of a stunning strike, of stunning goal he scored, and the celebration was interesting as well. If you remember, Gomez back at the I see what butcher his name, but Gomez, I used to play for Swansea City. The celebration will remind you of that player, but he is a very good midfielder, defensive midfielder, can cover a lot of ground. So let's see what he's able to do. Hopefully he comes good in this tournament. But Ayuwa Ibrahim, Accra United, I think he was also in the under-20 AFCON squad. So a lot of those players for me, if I had my way, wouldn't be making their way back to the under-20 World Cup. But I'm guessing Zubairo wants to go with what he knows. And to be fair, 100% is if the coach is coming back anyways, despite what he's done, that's because I feel there was a distinct lack of technical ability. So if he's coming back, then the players might as well come back. So, but on the other hand, I was of the opinion that, if the coach isn't that good, you just flood the team with top level talent. Like you flood everywhere with top level talent, like your Rios, Ugumoha, like your Chizarameze Wata, and you just flood the entire team with top elite level talent at this level, and so you cover up the lapses of the head coach. But that's not the case. So we go into the tournament as we see Achechi Osie, Royal Antwerp FC. It's a nice one, left-sided winger. Let's see what he's able to bring to the table. He wasn't in the under-20 AFCON squad, so let's see what he's able to do. His teammate, I was hoping to see his teammate on here, and that is Gabriel. Get this, Gabriel Jesus David. When I saw that name, I was like, wow, really, Gabriel Jesus David. Well, I'm guessing that's it, but he's a very interesting player as well that I'd like to see in this squad, but he hasn't made it. So fair play in that regard. So Sani Suleiman Strengthen, he looks kind of nice and okay on the ball, but he doesn't really strike me as top level talent. But he's still young. He can develop. He can improve. He can shock me in this FIFA Under-20 World Cup Group C game. He can prove me, the folks of me wrong, and prove himself and his abilities right, and Zubair apparently right. So let's hope for that, because despite the fact that I'm critical of some players, what I want is for the team to actually progress. What I want for the team to actually win, the tournament. As opposed to losing. For me, I'm not one of those people that if the player you want is not in the team, then you don't back the team. I always back in the Nigerian team, to do well. And then you got Tahir, my Ghana Wireless FC. He's been one that's been on a nice bit of form in this tournament pre-season games they've played. Not pre-season, but pre-tournament games that they've played. So far, I think he got the goal in that 1-1 draw. So let's see if he can translate that form into this game, into the FIFA World Cup. The game will be played on Monday. I will do watch along for that one as well. So the watch along will be by 9. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, it will be by 9. BST, maybe Nigerian time, that could be 8. So let's see how that all shapes up. And then we've got Parabo Areri Lilstrom. It's on the books of Lilstrom, but he's currently on loan at Mjondalen. Let's see what it's all about. I know he's a super special talent. I've seen what he can do. Let's hope it translates that, into this tournament, into the FIFA World Cup itself. And then Charles Agada, he is another interesting one. I want to see what it's all about in this tournament. I want to see what he can bring into the table. I've seen him. I like bits of his play. He can be a tad selfish sometimes, but which striker isn't selfish? I just want him to become more of a team player, in my humble opinion. Have the eye for goal, but when you see a player in a better position, lay the ball off for that player. So super excited to see what he is able to do in this tournament. Now, this one for me is absolutely a mystery. It almost feels criminal, but Abdullahi Shitu Ele, Manchester City, up until September of 2025, that's up until this month that's about to end. There was no mention of this player in and around Manchester City. So I don't know how suddenly he's now a Manchester City player, but who knows? Fair play. Let's see how it turns out. Would he even get game time? If he then gets game time, would he then be able to, deliver? Would he then be able to deliver? Would he then be able to produce come game day, come tournament day? So fingers crossed on that one. Let's see how it all shapes up. Let me know your opinions on these players. Which of these players are you excited to see? I've mentioned the ones I'm excited to see. I ready Parabo for one. I want to see what he can do. Ocheche Amos, I want to see what he can do as well. Benisa Hakot, I want to see if he's able to translate what he's done, in grassroots football in Nigeria, in the AFCON, and even onto this stage as well in the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. Let's see what it's all about. Now, let's say today is packed. It's really, really packed. And we're going to talk about a lot of things. Now, so we're going to talk about a lot of things. So now we'll talk about the Nigerian Super Eagles. The Nigerian Super Eagles have indeed been beset by injuries. It's just shocking and scary at this time. You got Onyebuchi, you got Onyedika. Rafael Onyedika is out injured, could be out for 6 weeks. So that means World Cup qualifying, he could be missing out on that one. And then, of course, you've got Fisa Ozele Bashiru is also out injured. So you just have players out injured. Olaina, of course, we knew he got injured on that horrible pitch in South Africa. And now we have a problem with right back issue. So where do we look towards? Someone said Michael Kayode, but we know Michael Kayode has this link with Italy. So it has to be a nationality switch things. You have to put in the paper. You have to put in the work to get the player to then switch national team allegiance to you. Now that is the issue. That is a big issue in my humble opinion. How do the NFF get about doing this? For one, when you talk about Bright Said Samuel, for instance, some people rate him. And that's the beauty of football. That's the beauty of talking about football. That's the beauty of having these discussions in and around football topics in general and in particular Nigerian football. So talking about him, he is not someone I rate highly. Some people rate him highly, but even if you rate him that highly, right? Who is the second person? You need another right back. You can't just go into qualifying with a right back. You can't just go into AFCON with just one right back and then maybe a barely fit Olaina. You need to be able to go into the tournament with at least, one proper with two proper fit fullbacks, two proper fit right backs. So what do you do? Michael Kayode, I think he matches up profile wise. He matches up strength, pace, power, defensive ability. When Chelsea played Brentford, I think he gave a good account of himself in that game. That was a huge test for Brentford, but he did give a good account of himself in that game, and he has been doing so all through the Premier League so far. So I think he's someone that should be looked at in that regard. And then in the midfield, for me, I would say Benitez Kinsimiro. Maybe you look at him. Maybe you also look at Watch House is still very, very raw in my opinion for the way he plays. Then maybe there's a name I want to talk about, but I'll hold back a bit because I'll talk about him later on as the show goes on. But you really do need numbers in that midfield position because Fisa Edele Bashiru out, Rafael Onyedika out. So you see that is just one too many injuries in that midfield. Need to get players in there, so need to look at options there. And then there is one question that I have to talk about, one thing we have to discuss, because it does feel like it raises its head every now and again. I've had people who've come on here and I've shared that opinion, I've had people who've come on here, had opinion, I've had people in the comment section, drop their opinions with respect to this topic, and that is homegrown players versus dual nationals or foreign-born players. Now, I get the point that people make. Don't think I don't get it. I get the point that people make where people go on to say, oh, the fact that this person was not born in Nigeria, he grew up in England, he grew up in Spain or Italy, it means this person is not all too passionate about playing for the Nigerian Super Eagles, or that's why the youth, it affects youth development in the country. I kind of see it kind of merits to the argument, but overall, I disagree strongly with such perspective, with such mindset, because it's just wrong. It's just wrong. Because one thing is, people act like when they say developing grassroots, like you have to be there, on the ground, doing the grassroots development yourself as an NFF chairman or as a National Sports Commission chairman. No, what you have to do is set the enabling policy in place. Set the enabling policy in place, and the likes of Valiant and the likes of Sporting Lagos, the likes of Beyond Limits, Atlantic Business will go on to do the job, will go on to develop these players, begin to integrate these players into the under-17 team. Because even this under-20 team, even this under-17 team, how many of them are drawn from these properly run grassroots teams? So that has nothing to do with the dual nationals or foreign-born players. It has nothing to do with them. What you have to do is to get players that have quality, whether they are homegrown or they are born abroad, it doesn't matter. It's quality that should matter. People, and this talk about foreign-born players not passionate about the team. I don't quite get where it's coming from. It's backed by some kind of weird stereotype, but I don't get where it's actually coming from, where you've seen that hard proof. And then when you look at numbers, let's look at numbers. How many players, in the Super Eagles right now are dual nationals? Let's be honest. Let's start counting. How many of them are starters? Stanley Nwabali, to the best of my knowledge, and I'm sure your knowledge as well, Stanley Nwabali has just Nigerian citizenship. He was born in Nigeria. He's a Rivers boy, if I'm not mistaken. Then you look at left back, you got Bruno Oyemachi, single nationality. Then you go to Felix Ago, that has German and Nigerian. Okay, fair play. Look at the defense. Okay, you got Calvin Bassey, got dual nationality. Just Ekong, got dual nationality. But Igor Ogbu doesn't have dual nationality. So Practice Samuel has, Olaina doesn't, or Olaina has as well. Look at midfield. Uche Kusantos doesn't have dual nationality, just has Nigerian nationality. Rafael Onyedika, just Nigerian nationality. Fisa Edele has, Iwobi has. Then, if I talk about Benitez Kinsimiro, although he's not in the team yet, he doesn't have. He's just a single nationality. Chukwueze doesn't have dual nationality. Victor Osimhen doesn't. Rafi Dorishimi doesn't. Okay, scratch that, he's not in the team yet, but Victor Boniface doesn't. Cyril Dessers has. Tudor Kodare doesn't. So I don't get where this point is coming from, where how dual nationals have now become the problem of Nigerian football. That should be a plus. And my point has been follow what succeeds, follow or copy what has been successful with other nations, with other countries that find themselves in a similar situation to yourselves as Nigerians. Look at Morocco. They will always have this link with Spain and Holland. So you always see players that have Moroccan nationality alongside a Dutch nationality. So, but they are able to attract players both homegrown and ones born abroad. As long as the player has the quality, as long as the player can come and make a difference in the team. And that's what should be paramount. I don't get this whole talk of homegrown and not homegrown. It should be a plus. It shouldn't be a disadvantage. For the ones abroad, people are acting like the NFF pays some money to help those players develop, or they have a camp, in England or in Spain or in Italy to make those players develop. You don't have anything like that. Those players are being developed through the channels of clubs in those countries. All you have to do is to get your house in order, build a connection with those players, and have interactions and discussions with those players. That is what you have to do. You don't have to spend money to develop those players. So why is that an issue? Why is that an issue? And a lot of people talk about homegrown. Okay, I've done a couple of shows on here where I've just been reacting to games played in the under 20s. Games played in the TCC, in the Creative Championship, which is a league or a league competition, a grassroots competition in Nigerian grassroots football, where you have all the beyond limits and all those clubs play. How many people turn on to watch it? So that's part of the issue as well. How many people turn on to watch it? When we talk about developing our own grassroots, right? It involves everyone's contribution. It involves the NFF, the sports administrators, putting things in order to ensure these tournaments, these sort of competitions go on. That's one. Also, it involves people going to the stadium, to the various pitches where they play, and watch them play and buy their tickets. So even if it's £1, even if it's two naira, 5 naira, 10 naira, 100 naira, 1,000 naira, you pay to watch those games, right? If it is being streamed, you subscribe to the channel that shows those games and you watch them. Or if someone like me is sort of reacting and sharing those videos on a YouTube channel, watching them on there. So different ways we can contribute. So for me, I don't see why it's an issue. I don't see why it's a problem, especially when you have blueprints all over the world where it works. And I've said this time and time again, this has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with being an African problem or being a Nigerian issue. Even in countries where you say, oh, they're super organized, they have top level, grassroots academies and things like that, like Belgium, for instance. Recently Belgium and Greece were having a sort of battle for the services or the allegiance of a player. He had both Greek and Belgian nationalities. So these dual nationals have nothing to do with it. They have nothing to do with it. And then when we even talk about the grassroots players, where this would even be more of a discussion is if I saw or we've seen time and time again the Nigerian Football Federation inviting and integrating grassroots players. That would have been different. Okay, where is the integration of Shola Ogundana to this team? Where is the integration? Where all these players are very portable. How was he integrated into the setup? Up to this point, there's no mention of him being even part of. Even if you invite him to a 35-man provisional squad and you drop him, you can say, oh yeah, he's been invited, he's a Super Eagles invitee, he's part of the system. But no, we've heard nothing about him. So is it the dual national that made the NFF not to invite him at this point? No. For me, that kind of talk or sentiment, I don't think is really helpful. I don't think it's helpful because you should be able to pull talent from wherever they are, as long as they're able to play for you, as long as they have quality. And let's face it, when it comes to developing young players, the NFF are not super intentional about it. And by this I mean not just because when you say this, who will only think about it being, oh, maybe you're talking to just dual nationals or players born overseas. No, even grassroots players that develop within the country are not really a product of the Nigerian Football Federation putting any policy in place. No, there's not. It's actually private individuals that push their way to get it to be done. Sporting Lagos, Beyond Limits, you know, the whole youth development thing is driven by private individuals in Nigeria, nothing to do with the NFF itself. So the fact that you're having dual nationals doesn't mean that the NFF they're living where they should focus and they're focusing on foreign. For me, it doesn't make any sense, and we should stop this simple type of thing of because he's born abroad, he doesn't like playing for the country. He does not passionate about the country. I ask this question. I say, is it only Nigerians, or do we have a bias against ourselves? Let's be honest. As Nigerians, do we have a bias against ourselves? Because I've asked this question before. Is it only players with Nigerian heritage that are born abroad that are arrogant, that are not passionate about playing for their country? Because we need to ask this question because we can see other countries like Morocco, for instance. We can see Algeria, for instance, right? We can see them having players who are homegrown, having players who are born abroad, and these players still come in and play for their country. So I need people to tell me, to say, okay, yes, we want to say this, that it's a Nigerian thing, and that we're just arrogant, or we have a bias against ourselves. Because I've seen this even for people that support different Premier League clubs. Once people see some name that's Nigerian, there's already this bias fellow Nigerians have about that player, which is odd to me, right? It's odd to me. The point is this that I am making, which I'm sure a lot of you are getting, is this. As long as you have a drop or maybe two of Nigerian blood in your DNA, you're able to play. You're of good quality, not just someone who just you're of good quality. It doesn't matter whether you're born in Gibraltar or you're born in Mushin or you're born in Guarimpa or you're born in Uyibo. As long as you have that Nigerian blood in your DNA, no excuses should be made. If you have the quality, you should be in the team. You should be playing. Where we should hold the NFF accountable is this, because the fact that a player is born abroad doesn't mean the player automatically has talent or has ability, right? But the thing is, you see players with ability, you see players, that have skill, that are top level talent. Why are you not having them in the team? And this should be looked at from both the perspective of whether it's a dual national or a single national that just has Nigerian nationality. Because even in this under 20 that we're talking about, let's not forget the under 20 World Cup will begin for Nigeria tomorrow. And I think the game will be 10 p.m. tomorrow. I'll be doing a watch along for that match. So keep your eyes peeled on that one. Today as well, I'll be doing a watch along for the Morocco versus Spain. So that an interesting one, Mexico, Brazil as well. I'll try to do a watch along for that one. That will be by 11. That'll be by 12 a.m. tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled for that one on this channel. But even if we look at this list, look at it and say, let's just focus in on the home-based players, the grassroots players who just come out from within Nigeria. We look at this and we'll see still gaps. We still see absence of players that should be here. There is Naziru Ishak of Sporting Lagos. Why is he not here? Why is he not here? Why is Ademola Babatunde not here? Long throw specialist used to play for Sporting Lagos and then Broad City, on loan to Broad City, and then he's joined Anderlecht. Why is he not here? Is it any dual national that tied the hands of the NFF, tied the hands of Zubairu, not to invite him? No. In fact, we've seen people who already are playing for reputable clubs in Europe come here and they're asked for one thing or the other. So those are things we should be looking at, not the players themselves. If you want to look at players, look at quality. Does he have the quality? Can he bring it match day? From what I've seen of this player, does he have the quality to deliver? That should be the point. That should be the main thing. We shouldn't look at all these exclusionary things that have nothing to do with winning. Football has moved along. Football has moved along. When you talk about this nationality thing, it has moved along. Germany, look at Germany. Ozil used to play for Germany. How many people know that Ozil has both Turkish and German, heritage? So Podolski, Polish and German, he played for Germany. So we should come off this thing of because the player is a dual national. Oh, that means no. He doesn't want to play for the country. No, it's time for the NFF to put her acts together. Because for those who follow the grassroots scene closely, would know that certain players that should be here that are not here, and would also know that the NFF isn't doing anything either way in terms of developing young players. That is, it's not like they have a special academy in England where they're spending a lot of money to develop players there. No. You come to grassroots level in Nigeria, it's not like the focus should be NFF, get your acts together. Begin to put up, you don't even necessarily invest in money per se, because a lot of grassroots clubs are doing the business already. Set up policies to help these teams. Set up policies that would encourage, I think there's someone in the chat that would encourage MPFL clubs to integrate players into their team from these grassroots academies. John Jones says Emmanuel, Michael, Danjuma, Lawali, Victor Keke, Johnny Spiff, Victor Orapo, Cheesy, everyone that deserves to be on this team. I agree with you. For one, Jonathan Spifa Suzu, he should be on this team, and that one for me remains a mystery because he was in camp. So I want to know, are we saying Nigerian Football Federation that Sadu Suleiman is better than Jonathan Spifa Suzu? Are we saying that this Abdullahi Shitu Ele that nobody has heard of until now? Because I always go look through, do research on Nigerian players attached to different club academies, and even some I've talked about here, some I haven't spoken about. So if I see their name on any list, boom, I'll know. I'll say, yeah, that guy is there. That guy is a player that plays for this club. I play for that club. So this Abdullahi Shitu Ele, I've never seen his name anywhere, but he's here. And then Hafiz Umar, best of my knowledge, he is just a mono-national. He played for Stade Reims. Why isn't he here? Some say the club refused to release him. I doubt that a bit. Why isn't he here? So even if you want to say, oh, are you from what part of the country? Even when you want to do federal character, you have quality players that will suit your federal character. But because of the warped nature of a lot of the minds of our administrators, they don't even do that. Because if you're wanting to do federal character, rather than bringing Abdullahi Shitu Ele, why not bring Hafiz Umar? Why not bring Hafiz Umar instead? If it is truly federal character thing, let's bring everybody from every part of the country, which I don't subscribe to. For me, bring a player, even if you have 20 Igbo boys, they are good, you bring them. If you have 20 Hausa boys that are good, that can deliver, that play at the top level, bring them in here. If you have 20 Ibibio boys that can make this squad, that they can all deliver, bring them in. For Jonathan Spifa Suzu, that is the craziest thing I've heard in my life. In an interview he had, I don't know if that bled into why he's not in this team. But in an interview he gave a couple of months ago, was a press conference where he was talking about wanting to play for the country and all these kind of things. His dad was on one side. I think you had one other official. I'm not sure if it was NFL official, but one other official on the other side. Talking about his passport. Instantly, I felt sad. Instantly, my heart broke. I look at Nigeria and say, what sort of nonsense are we talking about? We all know getting a passport express like this. If you're going to pay for express, boom. And we all know if someone from the NFF or National Sports Commission calls, oh, this guy, this player is wanting for the under 20 team, he's someone that we really like his talent, he needs to get his passport done expressly. We know that will be done. But in this case, passport became an issue. How? Someone explained to me how that is a thing. How that was a thing. Something that could be done like this. How that happened. So these are the areas that we should be looking at. We should be holding the NFF to account. Say you must now become more obsessed with winning than for the $10,000, $5,000 you get here and there. You must be more focused on winning. And how do you show Nigerians that you're focused on winning? Is when you forget every tiny change you get here and there, and you focus on getting the best talents available wherever they are from, whichever part of the country they are from, in Nigeria, whether they have 5 nationalities, if they have the ability to play and they want to play, then you bring them in and forget all these things that they throw out there to their minions. Because the NFF Sports Commission, they have their minions that come out there, to spin the yarn, right? To tell you all sort of things about how this player is arrogant, how that player is arrogant. There are pictures about with Jonathan Suzu taking pictures. He wore the training kit and stood alongside, other teammates. But anyway, so let's see what John Jones said. John Jones says they mostly want players from the north, and the good northern players they still won't call up. That is what I don't understand. Even that was say that if you say you use federal character, you want to make sure you have from south, you want to make sure you have from east, you want to make sure you have from north central, from northeast, from south. Okay, how about you bring the top level players from those areas? How about you do that? How about you bring those players who are top level talents from those areas? I tell you, this Abdullah Ishitu LA, I've never heard of him before. I've not, but he's there. Let's see if he comes, has game time, and he delivers. If you want to shut me up, deliver. Come game day, come Monday in the game versus Norway, show up. Show up. Show up and show out. So John Jones says, what does he say here? Says that they simply didn't want to include Pip because he is a dual citizen. For me, that would be a rabbit reason. And I'm sure a lot of them, they have this sort of mindset that a lot of Nigerian fans do. To be honest, a lot of Nigerian fans have this mindset that I've had discussions with people on this channel, due respect to them because we all have rights to our own opinions. Right? I've seen in the comments as well, and I've watched other sort of YouTube channels too, where people who host those channels, they espouse this silly opinion. In my humble opinion, I think it's silly. Oh, because this player is dual national. No. We don't want any boys. What are you talking about? What are you even talking about? Because it's dual national, that's the reason you don't want a player in the team? You don't want to play in the team because it's dual national. How low is your brain? It gets me really upset. So even if he's a Neymar level player, no, we don't want him. He has Brazilian and Nigerian nationality. No. Doesn't that seem stupid? But look at what other countries are doing, and that's my point. It's not just a Nigerian thing. Even countries that you feel like, oh, these countries are so developed, they're so organized, oh, how they develop players within their country. Despite the players they develop within the context of their countries, within the context of their domestic, grassroots sector, domestic professional football, they also, if there are one or two talents outside of that circle that develop, that of the level that are, on good form, they integrate them. They integrate them. But here, what we're doing is we find all sorts of reasons, all sorts of weird reasons not to have players that can have impact on the team. Now, fair play with this list. I will say Ebenezer Harcourt, of course, top quality should be here. I'll say Ocheche Amos, good is here. I'll say Daniel Daga, good is here. But Shola Ogundana, how is he not here? And for me, this thing, this is my point now. We as Nigerians, not just the Football Federation, not just the Sports Commission, not just any other administrative body, but we, including those of us who are fans, we have to stop this thing of looking at anything that doesn't concern winning as reasons. We have to stop considering things that don't pertain to winning and using that as reason not to have players in the team. The other day someone told me Hassan Yusuf is the most complete midfielder in Nigeria. I didn't know what to do. I don't know whether I was to laugh or I don't know. That Hassan Yusuf was the best midfielder, most complete midfielder. How are we getting such take from where? But anyway, everyone is entitled to their opinion. So before we go on to talk about other topics, so of course we're talking about the FIFA U20 World Cup. Some games have been played. The host nation, they managed to come back from a goal down to win. They managed to, come back from drawing the game with the New Zealand, and then eventually winning that game 2-1. Same thing, something similar. Panama and Paraguay. Paraguay were able somehow to win that game 3-2. So you have to understand that right now, this competition, no big names. No big names. If you sleep around, if you joke around, if you muck about, you will end up losing a ton of games. You end up throwing away games that you should be winning anyways. Ukraine also won their game. Egypt lost to Japan 2-0. So it just shows you how far football has come, how far football has developed. Because previously, Japan, Egypt, I don't think that those games really are close games, but fair play to the Japanese side, they got a well-deserved victory, 2-0 comfortable win in the end for them. So top marks to them. So for Nigeria going into this game versus Norway tomorrow, definitely I'll be doing a watch along on here for that one. Please smash the like button if you haven't shared this video. If you haven't still, if you want to become a member of this channel to watch some special content, there's different membership tiers. You can go and look at them at the channel after this live stream. So for Nigeria going into the Norway game, you have to understand this. You don't just expect to rock up and win, or you have to go in there, put in the work, and you must be concentrated 1010%. So this is where Zubairo comes into question right now, right? Because I have my own misgivings about him going to the 20, because I didn't think he was super technical, in the 20 AFCON. But there we have it. He is the coach going into this game, into this tournament. Fair play. There's nothing we can do about that. Let's hope he's learned from his mistakes, and he can put out a side that is very technically sound, because the players can have all the quality, they can have all the finesse, they have all the ability, but the tactical nuance, the tactical prowess, that is the remit of the coach, as in this case, Zubairo, that is, his remit. So he should set this team up rightly. And that's where I think Nigeria will have an issue because that's where Nigeria will have an issue because no. So I've dropped the link to the video in the chat. If you want to join the discussion, you can click on it and join. So that's where we have an issue. The team isn't absolutely littered with top level players. You have one or two, like I've mentioned. You've got Daga, you've got Areri, you've got Achichi, sorry, you got Charles Agada. You've got a couple there. So the coach now has to really earn his corn. He has to really go out there and show his tactical ability because that's what it is. If you didn't get top level players, you have to deal with it. Areri Parabo as well. We're looking at, and then of course we also talked about top of the show injuries that Nigeria have faced to Rafael Onyedika. He's out for 6 weeks. Most likely he's going to miss those 2 qualifying games. Very crucial qualifying games against Lesotho and Benin Republic. He's going to miss those ones. And then Fisa Idile Bashiru as well is going to miss those ones. Ola, we already know, we've known for a bit that he'll be out. Maybe he could be available for the AFCON because he's meant to be back in December. And the AFCON starts in December as well. So maybe he's able to make that one. And then, so we're talking about who can come in, and fill those spots. We heard of Michael Kaya. Some people have suggested Michael Kaya there, and I look at him and I say, yeah, footballing wise, I think he can do it. He can be a guy that comes in, and becomes competition for Brighton Said Samuel. I think he's better than Brighton Said Samuel in my opinion, but it'll be good to have someone like that in there. And then midfield, I would go with Ebenezer Akinsimiro, or maybe look the way the NFL operates. I won't be shocked if they go for Alhassan Yusuf. I will not be shocked if they go for Alhassan Yusuf. But speaking from Onyedika's point of view, I hope and I wish him speedy recovery. But in his head, he may even be thinking, maybe why am I even coming? Because he's been invited and dumped on the bench and not used for 2 games. In games where we needed people who were mobile, who were aggressive, who could go both ways, we dumped him on the bench. So maybe you're thinking, well, I don't want to get an injury, but even if I got invited, would I really have been used? So this is where the NFF, you have to earn your money right now. Gusau and the likes, you have to earn your money. You have to go out there and scout players and get them in. If you like, bring Alhassan Yusuf again. That's left for you. I'm tired of talking about that. He plays in the MLS. That's where he plays, MLS. Okay, so let's move on now. And then the home base versus homegrown versus dual nationals. Where do you stand on it? Let me know in the comment section. And then there's one name I want to talk about right now. One player I feel he is an absolute star, a rising star. He's Adamu Mukhtar. Adamu Mukhtar, he's 19 years old. He plays for Odds BK in Norway, in the Norwegian league. He's a defensive midfielder. He's got that recovery pace. I've seen some tackles this boy has made. He is something special. He is something special. Adamu Mukhtar, he is special. And I hope somehow, and when I look at it and I think, Adamu Mukhtar played for Sporting Lagos, before making this move to Norwegian football, right? That means I'm sure people in the NFF, they should know about him and all that, right? How come has he not even been in consideration to be in this team for AFCON and this one as well? Is this something where they said, oh, he's going to a new club, let's allow him? Or what's the reason? Because I can't be the only one who notices his quality. I cannot be the only one. I'm sure the Sporting Lagos people, they know of his quality. I'm sure a couple of NFF people, they watch those TCC games. I don't know. But they should know of his quality. He is a top talent in my humble opinion. And I think he should have been in and around this team, but he's not. And I think when we begin to rebuild this Nigerian midfield. I think he should be one of the names that comes in there because he has something unique about him. Something unique. Now, if we go through the midfield, right? Wilfred Ndidi, let's be honest, Wilfred Ndidi is coming to the point where this AFCON most likely will be his last one. The World Cup, if he goes to the World Cup, if Nigeria is able to qualify for the World Cup, could be his last one, and we even see lapses in his game right now. We still see lapses in his game. So maybe you begin to consider look for someone that's got that pace to track runners, make the tackles, and the tackles this boy makes. I wouldn't say Kante yes, because Kante used to make tackles without really sliding, without really stretching his leg to slide because his timing was impeccable. But Adamu Mukhtar, he has something about him where he will chase you down no matter how fast you are. He will chase you down, and then before you pull the trigger, he will time that tackle very well and nick the ball off your toes. So I think he is another one to look out for that midfield role. Not in the creative third. I looked at some of his stats and no goals, no assists. No, sometimes some roles in football is not about goals and assists. For some roles, if you're a striker, goals and assists. If you're a 10, assists and goals. If you're a winger, if you're an orthodox winger, assists and some goals. If you're this modern day inverted winger, goals and assists. But when you're playing as that deep line playmaker or defensive midfielder, I don't think Adamu Mukhtar is a deep line playmaker. He's just a defensive midfielder. Sits in front of the back four, and you can play a higher line with him because even if you push him high up into the opposition's half to win the ball in their half, if that ball goes in behind, he would track that ball with pace and most likely win the ball for the team. So when you look at these players, you ask yourself, why? You have to say why. And why is important for me to bring this and have this as a question is this, right? We've brought a lot of reasons, a lot of excuses for the NFF. Even the bad things they do, we've made it out as an excuse for them. Like for me, I said on top of the show that even if you want to have a team of people from Northeast alone, you want to have a team from the South alone, you want to have a team from the Southwest alone, South, it doesn't matter to me. As long as those players on that list are all able to perform, are all top level talents that can deliver, it doesn't matter to me. Now, it may seem like I'm being too harsh on this kid, this Abdullah Ishitu boy, but he's from nowhere, he's here. Why is he here? I don't quite get it. So say find a federal character. Why haven't you used Adamu Mukhtar as a federal character player here? Why haven't you gone for him instead? So for me, that's what bites me, right? That's what really upsets me. Right? You say you want to do this for this reason, but you have people that meet the quota that you want, that are actually good, and you don't invite those ones. So why would you do that in a team where winning is your thing? Like winning is what you want to do, right? But that aside, Adamu Mukhtar is a special talent, and I hope that somehow, some way, the initial squad for the AFCON, he should be in it. Whether he gets to make the AFCON or not, fine. But in the initial squad, let's say 35-man provisional squad, he should be in that squad because he is special. He has something unique. I think between him and Uba Charles, these two players should be players that the NFF should keep close eye on. Close eye on. Especially if you want to play this high energy, high octane football, play high line business. You need guys that have that recovery pace. And Uba Charles and Adamu Mukhtar, from what I've seen from them, they may be slightly raw. I think Adamu Mukhtar is slightly more refined than Uba Charles. Uba Charles is slightly a bit more raw, but what they can bring to a team is special. You want to play high pressing, high octane football where everyone is pressing. So Adamu Mukhtar, what happened? What happened? Why isn't he in and around here? But let's just give an excuse because we like making up excuses for the Nigerian Football Federation and making up excuses for the National Sports Commission. Let's say he's young, that's why, 18 going on 19. So, young. Maybe that's the reason, because people think this is an office job where you wait till you're 35 before you start playing. So he's young. Let's keep it out there. Yeah, fine. He's young. So let's hope going to the AFCON is part of the ladder squad, and then even if it's dropped, going into other competitions when the World Cup comes, World Cup qualification comes around again, and maybe he can be part of that. And speaking about the World Cup, there are talks about the World Cup being increased to 64 teams. Now, the World Cup was increased. The World Cup was increased to 48 teams, and Nigeria struggling to make it in. I just wonder if this World Cup, if this whole discussions we are hearing becomes true, and the World Cup indeed is increased to a 64 team tournament, would Nigeria still be able to qualify for a tournament? Because right now it just seems that it's not just the number. Even if they say we want to have 200 teams in the World Cup, are you sure Nigeria will qualify? Because you have to have your act together. You have to take care of business, before you can actually see yourself in certain competition. Because now you can't take anything for granted. And back to the topic of dual nationals, every country in the world, in Africa, they're beefing up their team. Don't listen to what South Africans will tell you, because they don't have that many outside. So they stick to who they have indoors. But the point is that every country, whether European country, South American country, African country, stacking up on talents that they have. They're stacking up on talents, and things are becoming really, really difficult. So I'll just go for a quick break, and then I will be, back to continue with the show. So don't go anywhere.
My people where they listen to me, my whole life family make una hear. I dey drop new video every week from morning to evening, I know the fear. I spend my time and my data to make sure say una dey entertained. But I check my analytics, see they make me vex. Viewers they plenty, but subscribers they faint. Subscribe no be only giveaway, make una support your boy, make it grow. If you like my content, make you show. Give me that red button, make it glow. Subscribe no be only giveaway, make una support your boy, make it grow. If you like my content, make you show. Give me that red button, make it glow. Some of una they watch from morning till night, you they comment, you they like, but you no click. You they wait for when I go do promo, when I go announce the next phone or a ticket. Not true, I like to give back to una, now why I they do give away from time to time. But if una no subscribe, I go get more. Now your subscription be the reason why I decline. Subscribe no be only giveaway, make una support your boy, make it grow. If you like my content, make you show. Give me that red button, make it glow. Subscribe no be only giveaway, make una support your boy, make it grow. If you like my content, make you show. Give me that red button, make it glow. Imagine say you dey build your house and your neighbors they come use your water free. Then they take water, then they wash car, but when you ask them to help you with the house, then they flee. That's how it be, my people, no be lie. If una no subscribe, my channel go die. I need your support to reach for the sky. So please, my people, just give it a try. Subscribe no be only giveaway, make una support your boy, make it grow. If you like my content, make you show. Give me that red button, make it glow. Subscribe no be only giveaway, make una support your boy, make it grow. If you like my content, make you show. Give me that red button, make it glow. Yeah, hit that button now. Make it turn from red to gray. Thank you for your support. I they appreciate you every single day. Peace. 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 Oh yeah, oh yeah. Need about to pray, to pray. Thank you for your support. I appreciate you every single day. Peace. Energy, electronic shakers and a six melody. Oh yeah, make una listen. It's your boy on the mic. We dey talk about a legend. See me, number nine. Waiting then they talk, waiting then they yarn. Say one boy they call me, they set alarm from Lagos to Naples. The fire don't burn. Victor Osimhen, he don't reach his dawn. No be small boy playing a serious matter. He dey score goals steady like Wabano scatter. Defenders they fear, then they shake like leaf. When Osimhen come, they go no relief. Never, 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 never. Osimhen big baller, oh yeah. He dey pull up our nets, make we shout go clear. Power they leg, head down for the air. Now international striker, he no gets compared. Big baller, Osimhen make them hear.
Hello. Thanks for waiting. Thanks for staying tuned. So we've been talking about a couple of issues, talking about the FIFA Under 20 World Cup that the Flying Eagles will be taking part at least are taking part in and will have their first game tomorrow by 9 p.m. But yeah, tomorrow by 9 p.m. against Norway. So looking at that game, we'll be looking at the team, looking at possible players that could make a difference in that game. For me, I already Porabo, Daniel Daga, Bamigi. Despite my concerns about certain issues, I think he'll be important for that team as well. And then as well, Charles Agada. I think he'll be someone that can be instrumental to the team getting points and getting goals and thus winning games. And from the games we've seen Paraguay have to fight against Panama from CONCACAF to win 3-2. We've seen, the host Chile have to really fight, have to really dig in, to win versus Australia, um, 2-1. So nothing is given. I mean, was it 2-1? Yeah, nothing is given in this tournament. There are no really small teams. Now, you may have a team that you have more pedigree than, but going into those tournaments, going into those games, you have to take those teams really, really seriously, and you have to be really, you must have really high level concentration going into those games, going into the game. And then I've looked at Zubairu, not just me, I'm sure every other person that watched that AFCON under 20, you had your issues, you had your misgivings with the team from a tactical and technical standpoint, just hoping that he's learned something from that AFCON. And even if the recruitment of players for this tournament hasn't really been top notch, although you may want to give a pass to the NFF in the regard of Divine Oyemachi, the talks where he was invited, but Lecce refused to release him. And I have my issues about this whole FIFA thing. Because of Club World Cup, you're making the under 20 World Cup seem like it's not part of the FIFA calendar, and clubs don't have to release their players, and you just made it, blanket. So it doesn't matter if the player plays for the under 17 side for an academy. Um, the rule should affect the person, a player that would not necessarily even play, for the first team, like Chizaram Izenwata. But then when you talk about Nigeria, you want to look closely, you want to ask yourself, is that really the reason, or is just a nice cushion that the NFF and other officials have put out there, because you're seeing players that you've never seen before being on the list, and then you're seeing players, whether homegrown or that have dual nationalities, not even in the team. And we used to have this excuse that a lot of journalists a lot of journalists that are backed by the NFF used to come up with, oh, this player is arrogant, or this player he doesn't want to play, for the national team. So, he doesn't want to play for the national team. He just wants to. He's just arrogant. He wants to be begged. But now we're seeing players coming out, saying they want to play for the team, making it clear that they want to be there, and the NFF doing their doing their utmost to make things annoying for people. We've heard talks from people who are close to the Justin Jima situation that he wants to play, for Nigeria. So what's happening? What's happening with that one as well? I think that's an area you need to look at, because Victor Osimhen, yes, good news for Nigerians. Victor Osimhen, saying he was fit. He's still having, he's not completely 100% fit, but at least he's getting there. His fitness concerns are really improving. And although the Galatasaray coach says right now it's a risk, but at least he's coming towards getting 100% fit. So while it's good that you have him in, while it's good news that he's back training, that he could be involved in some action in the coming days, you want to have options in the team. And for me, Victor Boniface should be an option if he is used rightly, because we criticize Victor Boniface a bit too much, in my opinion, because we don't see the profile of striker, the profile of player that he is. And the profile of player that he is not your typical orthodox number 9 that you say, go out there, be a Diego Costa, go out there, be a Victor Osimhen. He's someone that will drop deep, drop into deep spaces, pick the ball off midfielders, connect with wingers, connect with a top number 9 in front of him, and will score goals and will create lots of chances. And that's why I say maybe, just maybe, Victor Boniface paired up with Tula Rokodare, or Victor Boniface paired up with Victor Osimhen could be productive for the Nigerian Super Eagles. And we should really look at that. And then this under 20 side, I'll be doing a watch along for their game tomorrow versus Norway. So keep your eyes peeled on that one. If you haven't watched the interview that was carried out by Victor Ademola, and I had a short clip of it on the channel, you can watch it there as well, or you can go to Victor Ademola's channel on YouTube. You can also follow him on X as well for the longer version of the interview. He said he had some friends that play for the Norway national team, and it'd be nice to have that interaction with them again. But what we want as Nigerians is going into those games that we actually win that game, because in this tournament especially, you lose your first game, then you're up, then you're immediately climbing up a slippery hill, and that's not what you want going into this under 20 World Cup. Get 3 points on board, and then you draw your next 2 games, you're in. You win your first game, it gives you confidence going into the second fixture, especially if the team you're coming up against, if they've dropped points in their previous game, then that puts you in good nick. So we want them to win that one. And then we talked about injuries. Rafael Onyedika out injured for his club. Fisa Bashiru out injured as well. So NFF, you have to start looking for replacements. Have to start looking for people that will come in and do a job for me. Benita Kinsimero is a different profile to your Rafael Onyedika, to your Uche Crisantos. And I think whether or not Rafael Onyedika is fit, I think he is someone that should be in this team because of the profile of player that he is. The profile of player that he is more someone that can help control play, control the midfield. And when you look at the profile of players that we have, I'm not saying he's better than Uche Crisantos, because Uche Crisantos is phenomenal. I just feel like he brings something different, that Rafael Onyedika doesn't bring, that Uche Crisantos does not bring, and definitely Wilfred Ndidi doesn't bring. So he's someone that I'll be looking at to be in that midfield. I know a lot of Nigerians look and say he plays for Pisa, so why do you want him to be in the team? Yeah, he plays for Pisa, yeah. But the issue is, do we have his profile? That is the question. Do we have that profile of player, that controller general, that deep line playmaker that can control the pace of a game? Do we have those sort of players? And for me, don't look at his goals. Ebenezer Kinsimero for me is not about the goals. When you're playing those deep line playmakers like your Tony Cruz's of this world, your Cesc Fabregas of the world, you're not looking at them to give you 15, 20, 30 goals a season. No, what you're looking for is their brain, how they see the game, how they feel the game, how one pass they make can lead to an assist and then they go. How one trap of the ball and feint of the shoulder can open up spaces. We've seen like of Stefan Effenberg of years ago. What those players could do on the ball. We've seen Busquets for Barcelona, what he did. And that's an area for Nigeria, for whatever reason, we don't really create players of that profile. So that's why I think Ebenezer Kinsimiro should be in there. Landon Lumenalu's son, former Nigerian international. Of course, I don't think he is quite ready to jump into the Super Eagles at this point in time. He's still young, but he's someone that I look at and say, okay, maybe this player, you have a look at him and begin to integrate him into the youth setup of Nigeria. There's another young one again, Ono Eze. He is in that ilk. Nigeria doesn't produce this type of players a lot. So when you see them, you try to integrate them and stop raising your noses up at these players. That's just how I feel about this. And of course, we had discussions in and around homegrown versus grassroots players. From my position is clear. I want to know what you think. In the comment section, my position is clear. And it's this. Does the player is the player eligible to play for the country? Yes. Does he have the quality? Yes. Then discussion done. Discussion absolutely done. If the player is eligible to play the country and is not good enough, you watch him, you don't see him control games enough, you don't see him score goals enough if he's a striker, then it doesn't matter. Even if he was born, inside Otta Market, even if, he grew up out of the soil of Port Harcourt, he shouldn't be in the team. Simple. So, good enough quality-wise. If the player has got quality, if the player can make a difference to the team, It doesn't matter where the player was born. I even feel odd having this as a discussion, but it comes up a lot. People raise it in the comment section. People raise it in normal everyday discussions I have with people. Oh, it's dual national. Why should you be in the team? No, that shouldn't be a thing we think about. We should be thinking about how best to get the best available players wherever they are born, wherever they are from, as long as they're eligible to play for the country. And let me spell it out, because I know some people like to pick out things when they say wherever. When I say wherever they're from, people say, "Oh, are you saying if he's from Germany, you should play for the country?" No, I'm not saying Tony Cruz should come and play for Nigeria. No, what I'm saying is it doesn't matter where the player is based. It doesn't matter whether the person has a German mother or not. If that person is good enough, get him in the team. And this is another point I share with Mikel Obi. You don't wait as an NFF till he's 30, 31, 32. Then you want to compensate him for whatever and force him into the team. When the player is young and can actually, provide something for the team, help the team, contribute to the team, then you bring him in. That's how I look at this. And then we'll talk about some Nigerians that had in the Premier League. Uche Kusantos, I think, was benched, didn't quite get to play. Frank Onyeka's Brentford beat Manchester United 3-1. And then the Nigerian Libertary George and Chelsea fell 3-1 to a 3-1 loss at home to Brighton. And then the last topic we were talking about, last thing we were talking about on here, we were talking about a special talent, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think about this. Adamu Mukhtar, he is a special talent. His timing of his tackles, his recovery pace, I think that is a player that we have to look at irrespective of anything. And that is my point. Best of my knowledge, he has only Nigerian nationality. So you shouldn't be thinking, oh, does he have dual nationality? No, he has only Nigerian nationality. He's showing you what he's able to do. He's young enough. He's showing promise. Get him integrated into the setup. Because we think this only affects dual nationals. Even single nationals. There are some single nationals as well that we just allow to waste and waste and waste. John Lenny Kenna is an example. He's there, but nothing is happening. So he is a single national. There's Babatunde Akomolade, from former Sporting Lagos, loaned to Broad City, and then has gone to Anderlecht, and he's been impressing gradually, with the academy side as he joined. So I think he is another one you look at, of course, for that left back berth, but he is unique because he's long through. He can do a job in at centre back, but I think he's more of a left back. But that's another one you should begin to look at, should begin to integrate, not just looking at this AFCON or this World Cup. It should be someone you're looking at to say, okay, whether or not we qualify for the World Cup, whether or not we win the AFCON, going forward, this guy should be in the team. Because one problem we have is that the Naija Football Federation is that they are a tournament organization. They do not develop players beyond the tournament. Scratch that. They do not develop players, period. They do not scout players beyond a tournament. So if you don't have a year, if there's a year where there's no World Cup for under 17, that means under 17 players fizzle away. That means under 17 players fizzle away. Under 17 players are not developed, which shouldn't be the case. If they fail to qualify for the World Cup, let's say under 17 side fails to qualify for the World Cup, you should have a set of friendly games that those under 17 team will play against maybe people from maybe Chinese national under 17 team, maybe South Korea under 17 team, maybe Japanese under 17 team, maybe Benin Republic under 17 team, South Africa under 17 team, play against academies all over the world. Develop that way. You don't just wait for a FIFA tournament, and where there's no FIFA tournament, no, we're not bothered. Except there's a tournament, then you have one or two friendly games, then you play the tournament, and that's it. And that's the main thing that's affecting Nigeria's game and had nothing to do with whether the player is one national or not. So this planning should be in place. And like I said in previous videos, long-term planning has never killed anybody. The fact that you plan for the future 3, 4, 5 years ahead would not paralyze you, would not take anything from you. And that's what the Nigerian Football Federation, have to do. And that's why I say Adamu Mukhtar begin to integrate this boy into the football setup. He's right there. He's right there. You don't have to wait for anybody to switch from anywhere. He is just there. Shola Ogundana, he is another one. He is gone. He's left Flamingo. He's gone to Dynamo Kiev, and he hopefully he gets game time there and continues to play. That is another one you should be looking at. These are the players that you should be promised Meliga. He has gone to Valerenga in Norway. He's been looking decent. But for me, I think Valerenga is a stepping stone on Yubicha Basi as well. I wonder what his agents and representatives are doing. That's another thing as well that affects the development of Nigerian players because, one, the league is, I would say Nigerian football, domestic football is in a way where people always want to leave and are desperate to leave. So sometimes they don't get the best deal. And I feel sometimes the agents that come to represent these players may not be the best, but skill-wise, ability-wise, the Bass is up there. And it should be in this sort of under-20 team. But there you have it. He's not here. Hopefully these ones that are in the team, they do well. So what are your total opinions on the various topics that we have discussed on this show? Let me know what you think. If there are questions you want to ask about other things, let me know as well. And if you want to be a member of the channel, there are different membership tiers on the group on the channel. You can choose which to join. They're all it's all open to you. But want to keep subscribing and supporting the channel, that's super welcome as well. And last time I checked, I think we are one away from 2,000 subscribers. So keep smashing the like button, keep subscribing, keep sharing this channel to other people with this video as well, to people you feel will love content like this. Thank you so much for all of you that have been here from the start of the show till the end. We're coming towards the end. And I want you to let me know what you think about this new song on the channel. And this one song I play without fear of any copyright issues. So I'll mute my mic and I'll play this song. Let me know what you think.
Make us proud for everywhere. See movement for pitch so sharp, so precise. He go dribble 2, 3, no need to think twice. The way they run like lion for chase. So position defenders, then they lose their place. He go head it more strong and thunder for sky. Go Lego confused, don't know waiting to try. From Lille to Napoli, the story they sweet. Every match he play, a pure football treat. Cause he then big baller, oh yeah. He put the ball for next, but we shall go clear. Power they leg.
I wonder what you thought about that. I just tried to play a small clip of that. I hope you enjoyed this. And say big thank you once again for being with me on the channel for this long. And definitely, hopefully, see you later on in the day when I'll be doing the watch along for the Spain versus Morocco game. I want you to be on here with me as well. And then the Brazil-Mexico game, that'll be later on, late in the night or early in the day, depending on how you look at it. So at this point, I've come to the end of this video, the end of this live stream, and I'll see you on yet another video. Definitely have a splendid rest of your day. Stay well and most definitely stay blessed. Bye-bye.